I'm Joe Clarkson here with ONUsports.com. This week for Chillin with the Polar Bear, we have Garrett Dauch from the men's swimming team. Garrett, thanks for being here with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joe.
Yep, no problem. So we'll get right into it. Garrett, when did you first learn how to swim, and then when did you take it to the competitive arena?
Well, I first learned how to survive in the water when I was young, 3 or 4 years old, at my parents' house. We had a big pool in the backyard. I took it to a competitive level when I was 11, and I had an instructor who taught me how to do all 4 strokes, and I was pressured by my parents to at least give it a try for a summer to try swimming competitively, and from there I liked it, and I just continued with it.
Mm-hmm. Now fast forward to ONU. As a prospective student, why were you attracted to ONU, and why were you attracted to the swimming program here?
The biggest thing that attracted me to ONU was the size of the school. I really liked how it fit for me. I'd known a lot of people that went to bigger schools, but that graduated before me in high school, and I just didn't like how the campuses felt. I didn't like the size of everything. The second major thing was that the swimming coach, Peggy Ewald, she was trying to recruit me at the time, and I had known Peggy for a while before ever considering looking at any universities, and I knew what kind of person Peggy was and what she stood for, and that spoke a lot louder than anything else, is that if she was here, then that says a lot about the university and where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Now, the swimming season is very long. You guys got into the pool in September. So how do you guys balance such a long swimming season and such a tough schedule academically as well?
Well, for the long swimming season, it's by far a grueling, long season to deal with. It can drain you mentally as well as physically if you're not careful. But the other part is that you just got to deal with it by staying tough mentally, and you just got to be there to support one another when you need it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And you touched on this a little bit, but swimming's a very physically demanding sport. Can you talk about how the team has to push each other in order to get better, but also support one another, or else you guys could wind up in trouble?
Well, the biggest thing is that both the men's and women's teams, we all help each other when we're in the pool. It's physically demanding. There's a lot of days where the practices are just so hard your body wants to give up. Biggest thing is just that the men's team needs the women's team to help push them when we are starting to slack off, and the women's team needs the men's team when they start slacking off. So the biggest thing is just that we all have to have a sense of camaraderie and work together to get the job done and to meet our goals for the season.
Okay, Garrett, this year's team is much younger than the other teams that you've been on since you've been at Ohio Northern. Can you talk about how, as a senior leader, what things are you really focusing on to help those younger guys?
Actually, this year's team reminds me a lot of how my freshman year was. There was only a few senior members of the team, and each of them brought their own things to the table to try and show us. And the biggest thing for me is just that I want to show all the underclassmen what this team is and what we represent. And I don't want any of them to walk away from this year thinking that I didn't give it everything I had, trying to show them the way that this team needs to go.
Mm-hmm. Now, you guys already locked up a regular season championship. You head into the OAC meet next weekend. What will you guys need to do well in order to defend your OAC championship?
Really, all we need to do now to win the championship is just to do what we do best, and that's to have fun. We've done all the work this season. We've done our training, and now it's just time to taper down, relax, and just have fun with our races, because you'll never swim well when you're tensed up and worried about your race.
Mm-hmm. Along the same lines, individually, what are you focusing on, and what are your goals for your potentially last intercollegiate meet?
The thought of it being my last intercollegiate meet really kind of struck home a couple days ago. But my main focus is just to go into the meet, start out strong, set the tone for the meet, and just not let go of our lead from the first time we get up there.
Each year you guys seem to break more school records, break more OAC records. You're fighting for your consecutive OAC championships. Why do you think this program is so successful?
It's This team is really successful just mainly because of the coaching staff and support that we get from the university. Peggy Ewald is by far the best coach I've ever known, and she brings so much to the table to help out the team and sacrifices so much of her time that it's unreal. I don't know anybody else that could really do it. Really, it's her type of training has propelled me from being a above average high school swimmer into possibly being a national collegiate swimmer, and that's just not something that you can just pick up by yourself. That's something that you have to pick up excuse me, from a good coach and good training, which is exactly what this team has, and good support from the university, which this team also has.
Final question, Garrett. Immediate and distant future, what is in store for ONU men's swimming?
I believe ONU needs to stay the powerhouse for the OAC in swimming, and as well as diving. Also, I think in the distant future, the goal is for this team to make it to the national level, become an extremely successful national caliber team, much like Kenyon and Denison and Emory. Yeah, that's the direction we want this team to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for being here, Garrett. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Joe.
For ONUsports.com, I'm Joe Clarkson.